As you're all aware, in India we have made a huge effort in creating a very large database, in fact the world's largest database, in the form of the Aadhaar database. However, managing such huge data repositories, they pose their own unique challenges. For example, the first and foremost that concerns everyone's mind is with regard to security and privacy of personal data in such large databases. And another concern that is often raised with regard to such large databases containing personal data is how data is shared without compromising privacy, security, and integrity, and what kind of consent or what level of consent is obtained from the individual. The need of the hour is to create a robust regulatory and legal framework to address these challenges. In the context of identity management, we have seen broadly two approaches. This is true across many countries around the world. First is organization-centric, which allows organizations to consolidate or link distributed records of individuals. However, as you all might be aware, in this approach, there is lack of fine-grained dynamic consent by the individual. You give consent once, and then the entity or the organization or the government, it uses data in the back end with your presumed consent. There is another approach which recently in DIT we have tried to propagate, is to do this management in a user-centric fashion. The main difference in the approach is that in this case, the individual is allowed to have control over who uses his or her personal information and how it is used. This basically implies that the individual has fine-grained control over the use of his or her data, and he also provides permission for use of such data for individual transactions or services. In India, at present, there is no uniform system of electronic identity management or authentication. In the very recent past, in the last 1 year or so, DIT has worked on a new framework for addressing these issues for identity management. This framework we have named as ePraman. This is already approved and notified by the department during October 2012. The basic goal behind this framework is to build trust in online transactions and encourage use of electronic mode for government service delivery. As you might be aware, at present, different departments, they have different mechanisms for doing user level authentication, and in most cases, the user ends up providing some kind of documentation offline to authenticate his or her identity. This framework, it tries to eliminate paperwork in such authentication. It covers both web and mobile-based authentication, and it has 4 levels of authentication based on the sensitivity of the application, based on username, password, OTP, one-time password, digital certificate, or mobile based on PKI and biometric. And this framework, it incorporates the Aadhaar authentication service, which has been set up by the Authority of India, and it also aims at authenticating government websites to ensure that users are not subjected to spurious or phishing attacks. The framework provides a set of guidelines for implementing e-authentication of users of government services and for authenticating government websites. This is a broad schematic of how this ePraman middleware or the gateway works in conjunction with the other middleware that we have created. For example, the state service delivery gateways and the mobile service delivery gateway. There is a national level ID directory. This gateway is already created, and it is now being tested and piloted in one specific application in Andhra Pradesh. This is how this gateway also tries to incorporate a single sign-on mechanism by which a user can authenticate himself or herself once, and then he or she can navigate across the entire spectrum of government websites for obtaining different services. So the issues that we are trying to address are as follows. Probably we can have Q&A on the issues later on. First is addressing challenges of security, privacy, and sharing of personal data when we talk of large databases and identity management. Second is whether we need to have method-centric or user-centric ID management approaches, and whether consent, one-time consent is sufficient, or whether we need to allow individuals to give active permission for sharing personal data. However, then we have to deal with issues like national security and crime records, where the consent of the individual may or may not be required. In fact, in most cases, it's not required, or it's not needed, or it's not desirable. Then, how do we address the policy and regulatory challenges for addressing concerns such as security, privacy, and sharing? So I think these are the main issues that I had in mind for the ID management part of this thing. Regarding financial inclusion, this is closely linked to how we would eventually roll out financial services in our country. As you are all aware, government is trying to ensure that the benefits of different schemes are given to you directly. And recently, the direct cash transfer scheme has been launched for a number of schemes across different departments and across different states. Now, in that case, again, the issues of authentication and identity would arise. The current mechanism is to use the Aadhaar platform actively for ensuring that. However, the question of individuals having bank accounts is probably that's a major challenge that we have to face. And also, the delivery of these financial services, even though opening of bank accounts can be done in a decentralized fashion, but then how do people actively take part in these services? How they can withdraw cash, for example, how they can obtain credit, how they can actively transact using electronic mode. Mobile-based approach is another example. We have recently launched a mobile service delivery gateway, which aims at delivering a number of government services to the individuals over mobile devices, including financial services. For example, a person can operate a bank account using the mobile device. We also have launched a mobile payment gateway, using which a person can pay for a set of certain services to merchants, to government departments. So these approaches would help us in ensuring that these services are rolled out across the country, and people, even in rural areas, can avail of these services. Probably we can have some discussion on this as well. Thank you very much.